Oh, Mike.
Hello.
So
Not muted, am I?
So do you like this weather or what?
I don't know. It gets more than 70 degrees, and you know, it's starting to push it. Once it hits 80, now I want to go sit in the shade.
I'd rather have this than the snow, I'll tell you that. I don't like the cold. But...
I find the older I get, the less I tolerate the extremes, whether it's too cold or too hot.
Yeah, well, I can take the heat, but I can't, the cold, I really, I suffer with that, but the heat I can take.
Years ago, when I used to work down in the tropics, I used to love it. You know, 85, 80, 8, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. But now, no, I don't.
And probably 80, 85% humidity too.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah. You'd wash your hair and 3 hours later, it'd still be damp.
Yeah, that's no fun. That's for sure. Hmm. Hello, Allison. Well, hello, everybody. It's 6 o'clock, the 18th of May, 2021. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to do a roll call. Allison Angelini.
Present.
Russell Holmberg is excused. Mike Morelli.
Present.
Katie Uhas.
Present.
And at this point in time, I'm going to seat Steve Martik as an alternate.
Present.
Are there any citizen comments? Hearing none. Any comments from the commission members?
I have one.
Mike Morelli speaking.
Yeah, Mike Morelli, we would consider meeting in person outdoors, like in the town green. There's a roof there, there's tables there, there's lights there. Different commissions have been meeting there. The Conservation Commission met there all last summer. Just an idea. There's plenty of space to separate.
Any comments on that? I myself I'm a great believer in meeting in person. Is that the Ray Holdridge Pavilion? Is that where you're talking?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that at all. Anybody else have feelings on that? Because I think pretty much most of the meetings in other towns have gone, they're getting away from the Zoom meeting as of the 1st of June, I believe. But that's something we can look into, and we can have that probably for the next meeting then.
I mean, this is Allison Angelini. I think there is some convenience to meeting over Zoom when we have a short agenda. It's nice to meet in person when there's something that requires a lot of discussion, but some of our most recent meetings have been just 10 to 15 minutes, in which case, you know, I feel like we're able to have a thorough discussion on Zoom.
That makes sense. Any other comments?
If you do have a change of location, I believe you have to inform the town clerk, I believe 30 days beforehand. Maybe
Okay.
Kevin knows a little bit more about that than I do, but I know you have to give some prior notice. And I believe too, that once you set an agenda, it can't be changed. So there are some considerations to think of.
Yeah, but location's not one of those.
Okay.
As long as it's posted, to your point, as long as when you post the minutes with the town clerk's office, you identify the location, you should be good. As far as changing the agenda, the only time you can never change the agenda is when it's a special meeting. But if it's a regular meeting and the committee wishes to change the agenda under new business, the committee can vote to add an item to the agenda during the regular meeting.
Well, thank you.
And that is in accordance with the FOI laws, by the way.
Okay. Well, I will say that I do agree with Allison in that the meetings have been short, so it probably would make sense just to do a Zoom meeting until we do get into some things that are more substantive. Any other comments?
Bruce, this is Steve Martin. I have a separate comment, not
Yes.
regarding that.
Go ahead.
Okay. In the last couple of months, I've seen several comments from citizens and regarding lack of representation with the ad hoc committee. And it got me thinking that since the ad hoc committee was formed, we really haven't discussed it at all here at the ag committee. So my thought was to possibly in the future, maybe add something to the agenda every month where, Allison and Russell could take a couple of minutes just to give a brief summary of how the last ad hoc committee went, any discussions that came up, so that we as the ag committee can discuss it as a group. That way, Allison and Russell, when they go to the meeting, they can kind of have an idea to speak more as a representing the group than as individuals. If that makes sense.
Yes, I hear you. Allison, what's your thoughts on that, please?
I'm not, to be quite frank, like I'm not sure that that's necessary. The ad hoc ag committee has been open to public comment. You know, I've been quite firm on my resolve that, like, and you know, frankly, I've asked for what's been months of bullying comments directed towards me personally to stop, because of criticisms made about my experience in agriculture, which I just feel like are unwarranted. You know, the meetings for the ad hoc committee are recorded and they're open for public comment. I'm not sure, like,
Right.
Discussion monthly at this meeting would do. I mean, the other thing is, like, we still haven't even gotten through like general rough draft of the working regulations to like come up with a draft that we could submit for feedback yet. You know, it's a lengthy process, and the process is after the ad hoc committee is completed is even lengthier, because it still needs to be approved by planning and zoning and town council and lots of other people. So, you know, I feel like where we're at in terms of overall progress is like 2 steps into a 5-mile race. And I don't, yeah, I'm not sure what you're imagining are the discussions in this committee would look like.
Well, let me just backtrack a little bit. I don't want you to take that as like I was attacking you. I have no issues with anything that you've done so far. My point was that you and Russell are there as not as a secondary citizen. You're there as a representation of the ag committee. So without having any discussion about that as a committee, you're just really going in there as an individual. Does that make sense? So I'm fully aware of some of the fire that you've taken. And my thought was, if we have even, just a brief discussion, doesn't have to be anything crazy. That way, some of the stuff isn't directed to you as an individual. It's more as a representation of the ag committee. Does that make sense?
I guess I feel like Russell and I were sent as representatives of the farm community, and we've been taking hundreds of pages of public comment from the farming community. And I feel like we've been doing our best to represent the farm community in a way that also accomplishes the goals of planning and zoning. And again, like, we're just nowhere near. I mean, perhaps once we have a working draft that we, then perhaps we would have something to discuss. But I just don't feel like we even have anything to talk about yet, because we haven't even worked our way towards creating a rough draft.
Any comments?
If I might, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Kevin Dabrowski.
So, Allison, I'll have to correct one thing. Yes, you are there as a member of the farming community, but in the makeup that the town council appointed, in the resolution that set the that organized the agricultural ad hoc committee for the zoning regulations, you are a representative of the agricultural committee. But it is not uncommon for members of those committees that are appointed from EDC, planning and zoning, even myself from the town council, provide periodic updates of how things are going. Doesn't have to be detailed, but just a general overview of where things are heading. And that is not uncommon for committee members who are representative of other committees on an ad hoc committee such as this to report to their respective committee of what is going on. That way the input of that committee can be addressed during the ad hoc meetings. So it's not uncommon.
Sure. And I don't have a problem with having an update. I felt like maybe I misunderstood Mr. Marduk's suggestion for.
Yeah. And as far as
discussion.
right, and to your point though, as far as the makeup of the committee, that has nothing to do with the agricultural committee. That was the members who are on the ad hoc committee are appointed by the town council. The town council has made the decision of who's going to be on. We as the town council affirmed that at our last meeting about the makeup of the committee, and we are not going to change it because of comments that citizens have made. Because the town council, and I will say this, the town council feels that the members that are on the committee now are the right people to be there, and that we are working together the way we should to forward the set of regulations to the town council to be forwarded to the planning and zoning commission. Also, one other point of correction, the town council cannot adopt zoning regulations by state statute. We can only take the recommendation that was provided by the committee that was set up by the town council to support and forward what that committee provides to planning and zoning to act on.
Thank you. Any other comments? I do agree with Allison that people do have the availability to go back on the meetings and watch them or even participate when they're being held too. And at this point, there's no, like you said, you're still in the beginning stages of things. But if something,
If the request is just that we update
yeah,
where we're at, that's fine. We also do, I think we only have 2 meetings left
mhm.
for the ad hoc ag committee. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Steve Mardigan, question about that though. What's the plan for the future with that? Because you guys are just not even getting you're just getting into a draft proposal now, but there's only 2 meetings left. So are they gonna make a motion to extend the committee, or what's the long-term plan there?
We're just continuing to work our way through the draft. There has been no discussion of requesting an extension.
I might have a comment here. The comment would be is if you need more time and you're looking for an extension, maybe this commission could actually support that and forward that to the town council as a resolution. So it just doesn't stop after 2 months and then it's nowhere. You know, to have this ad hoc committee fulfill its mission for how long it takes. I think Mr. Dombrowski, the town council though must have some limit in mind. Is that the idea?
Well, we set the timeline was set based upon the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission for the duration. If the committee, and that, but I mean the ad hoc committee feels that they need an extension, the ad hoc committee would have to go to the town council requesting it.
Okay.
And that is not unheard of.
Okay, so if it comes to that point, I think an affirmative vote to have it extended by the Agricultural Commission would be helpful for that, for the ad hoc. Are there any other comments? Well, moving on to the farm survey, we mailed out the letters. I think there were, I forgot exactly how many that were mailed out. They were mailed out, and I think we've had to date 1 response, which probably isn't too surprising to people because I think as a lot of people knew that this program has been around for 30, 40 years. So I think a lot of people are well aware of the land development rights to be sold. But we should have the QR code in the Next Events magazine, and that's coming out, I believe, the middle of June. And at that case, we'll see, that'll probably wrap that part of it right up. So with that in mind, I think as a commission, we might want to look at what future endeavors we would like to expand. And if that's the case, then we'll present it to the town council. I don't know if anybody has any ideas of where they would like to help the agricultural community. Any ideas at all?
Myself was to become more advisory, to be able to allow us to advise, consult, work with planning and zoning, land use, the town planner, economic development commission, and even what we just said before, if the ad hoc committee decides to extend, we would write a recommendation to it. So basically it would expand us into a more advisory, because I think, the way it's been spelled out by the ordinance, it really does not state that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could be more expansive and being able to, to advise, speak with, and meet with, and make suggestions to the other town departments.
Okay, more advisory. I, for myself, think that the commission might be able to provide a reference resource to farmers in town if they had questions. And something of this could be as simple as if you've got goats or something, and who's your farrier or who's your vet. So if somebody else has a question, it'd just be an area where they could just kind of ask and find out who in the area is good at what they do for that type of thing. Another area that I think that might be helpful is, even if people don't sell their development rights, you do have the ability to reduce your taxes through the 490 program. To be quite honest, I was surprised at some of the farms that weren't taking advantage of that program. That's a town program. And I don't know the reason why they're not taking advantage of it. I know some of the questions could be, I know one of the questions on there is filing the Schedule F. You have to supply that to the town. However, in my own experience, Schedule F is not necessary. It'd be nice if you could just file a Schedule F if you continually lost money, which some farms do, but the IRS would not look kindly on that. So I think there are some areas where we could look at and try to amend some of the requirements on the 490 and the application to make it, I think, easier for people to understand. That's one of my questions.
So if I might, Mr. Chairman, as far as PA 940, that's not town, or the town administers it locally for who can apply and how and what the application is, but that is controlled by the state of Connecticut, not by the town of Ledyard.
Oh, okay. Even the Schedule F?
You have to file the Schedule F to be in accordance with the state statute.
Okay, well, okay, I was just finding that if you have a farm, and I'll just take myself, for example, we don't file a Schedule F. However, we do, I don't, and the reason being is because you still make, say, profit off the land, but the profit will not equal the expenses, even though the monetary, if you take a look at the monetary amount, it's high. But as far as the Schedule F, that's IRS, and you cannot file a Schedule F if you have no expectation of making a profit.
I don't disagree, but like I said, be careful. A lot of stuff that the town has to administer is because of state statute, not because we don't have an ordinance or something that says this is how you do PA 490. PA 490 is by statute.
Okay. So that's state statute.
Bruce, this is Katie. If you remember, maybe a month ago or so, Joan Nichols had that informational session that I shared with everybody.
Correct.
I was not able to attend, but Russell was. So maybe next meeting he can, expand a little bit more on that. But yes, that is a state program, and a great resource is Joan Nichols at the Farm Bureau.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get in touch with her again.
Yeah, she's great. She knows everything.
But if I might also just share with your point, there's comments being made about expanding the duties of the commission. So the way you may want to approach this, and this is merely suggestion, is it would be changes to the ordinance draft, suggested changes to the ordinance to submit to the town council. But then I would suggest at the same time that you submit the change to the ordinance, you also provide a status update of where you are as far as where the current ordinance provides, like providing the the list of the lands that are, I forget the term I had in my head a few minutes ago, but the soil, important soil lands survey.
Right.
And that
Right.
stuff. I don't know where you stand as far as actually performing that survey to see where the locally important soils are identified and which farms would be applicable to that. That is one of the things in the ordinance that you are supposed to be doing.
Correct. And I believe that we have most of that information already.
Okay, no, that's fine, but just for the point, if you want to take on more work, which is what you're asking to do, and I'm not opposed to that, to just make sure that you at least state that where you stand as far as where you are now. Because what I don't want to see happen is that this committee wanting to take on more work, wanted to take more effort on to support the farming in the community, but also being hampered by the fact that you haven't completed, or at least substantially completed, some of the efforts that you currently have in front of you.
Oh, I agree. I wouldn't even propose going to the town council till we have this thing wrapped and then go from there. I was just looking beyond that because I think that once we get the last survey, if it's the 15th of June and I would think that we'd have most of our responses back by the end of June if we're going to get any more. So that will tell us where we are as far as which farms would want to do that. And as far as the farm survey of the soils, we already have that information. So I think we will be all set. It's just a matter of getting the last results in and then just tying it all together and submitting it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other suggestions or questions? Any other new business to come before the committee?
I'm sorry, this is Art Marcellinus. So I just want to add on to that last bit. I didn't get anything in the mail regarding farm surveys. So I'm not sure how you chose those properties.
I know this, we went to the tax assessor and had the list from there.
All right, I guess I have to see what I'm under then. Thanks.
Okay.
Art, can you list your address for the minutes?
It's 769 Shoeville Road.
This is Bruce Garcia. Art, may I ask what your farming activities are, just so we have some idea of what we're looking at?
Sorry, couldn't hear you. A motorcycle went by.
I was wondering what your farming activities are. This is Bruce Garcia.
Currently, we've just got some chickens and sheep.
Okay. Okay. So livestock. Thank you. Any other questions or anything else before the committee?
Yes. Did we approve the
My
minutes of last meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. I'm sorry. That's my omission. Let me do that right now. Let me take a break from here. We'll go to the minutes. The minutes that were dispensed, if there's no objection from the community, I'll listen to any objections from the community or right now.
None.
Hearing none, as the minutes were distributed, is there a motion to accept as distributed?
I'll make the motion to accept them as distributed. Mike Morelli.
May I have a second?
I'll second. This is Katie Uhas.
Katie Uhas. Hearing no negatives, the minutes pass for last minutes unanimously. Okay, now we're going on to, I think we're pretty well wrapped up with the new business and old business. I think what we're looking at is for the next meeting to do the review of the questionnaires that we have back, and then we'll plan our report to the town council. Is everybody set? If there's no other business before the commission, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Mike, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And may I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Allison.
Allison Angelini seconded. And all in favor? Aye.
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 Nay.
Aye.
And that concludes, thank you, and that concludes the Agricultural Commission meeting, and it is now 6:27 PM. Thank you very much.
Night all.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.